Okay, good afternoon, Scranton. It is a dark week, and I know I'm personally still reeling from the events at the Capitol on Wednesday. Let's talk about that in a little bit. But first, I know that those events are kind of overshadowing the pandemic right now, and that's dangerous because the pandemic is pretty bad out there in our community and in the whole nation. So updates on that. We're still holding pretty steady under the max for hospitalizations, which is great. But the cases are still there, and we're still seeing a lot of community spread. We're doing better than a lot of other places because we're doing such a great job of masking up and continuing to have social distancing and working remotely when we can. So I appreciate all of our community for continuing to do that. But that it's here. The virus variant that spreads more quickly is in Dauphin County, which it's probably already here, if not on its way. So we have to remain very vigilant and keep doing what we've been doing. I did want to update. Okay, I'm just getting some updates here on my phone. So I wanted to give a bit of an update on. So Lackawanna County, as of yesterday or the day before, the total deaths at 276. That's 276 people right here at home that have lost their lives to the pandemic. So I don't want the events happening nationally to overshadow what we're dealing with here. We also have a little bit of information, I think, about the vaccine coming from the Department of Health, hopefully later today. I think that they're currently looking at having the 1A vaccinations completed in the next few weeks and 1B after that. Now, what's interesting is that there are about 100 million, there are 1 million people in Pennsylvania in 1A and 4 million in 1B. So it's a huge percentage of that's a huge chunk of at 5 million. That's like 40% maybe of people in Pennsylvania. So which is wonderful, but it means that the 1B category is very big. So I know that there's a lot of kind of questions and confusion out there. If I'm in 1B, when do I get that? Most 1Bs we're not there yet. Again, I hope that the Department of Health can get a little bit more color on that for us coming up. If you are in healthcare, if you're a healthcare worker and you haven't gotten your vaccine, we don't have answers for you ourselves. If you do want to email us, we can certainly try to get you those answers, though, as we know more. So we'll hope that DOH can give a little bit more information. But on the good thing about this is, as tough as the rollout is, and I know the Department of Health certainly has its work cut out for them. The vaccine is here, which is great news, and people are getting vaccinated. Our first responders are starting to get vaccinated here in the city, so it's very, very exciting to see that happening throughout the country. So there is light at the end of the tunnel, but we've got a ways to go. I just wanted to make sure that we're not forgetting that in this tough week. As we know from the pandemic and all of this having to stay at home, people losing their jobs, people not having the types of jobs that they usually have or the hours that they usually have. We have a lot of economic hardship going on in our city. So we wanted to continue today to offer resources to those of you who might need them or who know somebody who might be in need. So I'm happy today to have Krista Somers from the Catherine McAuley Center here to talk a little bit about the programs and the resources that the Catherine McAuley Center has, making sure that everyone knows that those are here right in our community, right here in Scranton. So Krista, good afternoon. Good to see you.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So if you wanted to just kind of give a rundown of what the center offers, and then we can talk a little bit about COVID, how that's been going, and how we can get resources to people, how we can help.
Sure. So the Catherine McAuley Center is a nonprofit that serves women and children experiencing homelessness in both Lackawanna and Luzerne counties. Our ultimate goal is to help women and children to obtain and maintain safe, affordable, and decent housing. We do this through a variety of programs. So we operate 2 homeless shelters. One is right here in Scranton for residents of Lackawanna County. We have a variety of different housing programs. These all include short, medium, long-term rental assistance, in addition to intensive case management and supportive services. We also operate a prison program that has housing and case management to women exiting prison and reintegrating into the community. We have 2 single-room occupancy homes where 17 still single low-income women are housed and receive supportive services as well. And then we operate a food pantry that's available to the public and have programs and events throughout the year that promote family bonding and life skills building. So it's kind of just a taste of all of the programs that we have here at the center.
Where's the food pantry?
So that operates out of our admin building on Pittston Avenue, 430 Pittston Avenue.
Okay. And is that throughout the week or certain hours?
Yes, anybody who's looking to get a food package can give us a call, 570-342-1342. We'll take all the information that we need on our end, and they can come and pick it up. We'll schedule a pickup time, contactless as well.
That's wonderful. How does the shelter work? So who's eligible? What's the length of time? What are some of those details?
Sure. So our shelter is for single women with children. So if they are, homeless, living somewhere that, they know that they can't stay or have no place to live at all, they'll give us a call and they'll explain their circumstances. Our caseworker will do an intake process with them that's pretty in-depth, go through their income, their employment, are the children enrolled in school, what medical issues need to be addressed, kind of do all of that intensive case management prior to entering the shelter, and then that will continue through their time at the shelter. We say that the shelter is a 30-day emergency shelter. That give or takes a little bit. Some women are able to, get the ball rolling, find housing, go a little bit quicker, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but we do tend to average right around that 30-day mark. And then many of our women move into housing programs or find housing on their own.
What are some changes and challenges from the COVID pandemic for the center and
Sure.
for the people seeking those resources?
So, we've seen the hardship of loss of wages, of, a lot of women have had to, outside of the layoffs and reduction in hours and all of those things, their children are not able to go to daycare or they're doing school virtually. So they have no childcare. So they've been forced to quit their jobs and stay home and take care of their children. So we've seen kind of a shift in, availability of jobs, what our income looks like, what our expectations are. And there's an increase in people who are seeking our services. Right now, there's a federal eviction moratorium in place through January 31st, which essentially means anybody cannot be evicted for non-payment of rent until the end of January. We know that when that eviction moratorium lifts, there's going to be a slew of people who are seeking assistance. So one of the exciting things that we're working on right now is an emergency rental assistance project. So we have 2 anonymous donors who each pledged $10,000, and we're asking the community to match those funds to raise funds for straight rental assistance. And we're also encouraging anybody in the community. We're not limiting this to the audience of women with children. It is available to anybody who has lost or reduced wages because of the pandemic to apply as well. So our application is live. It's up on our website, CatherineMcAuleyCenter.org. You can complete the application on our website. You can stop by the office and pick up an application. We can mail one to you if you want to give us a call. It's a simple application, just kind of running through the logistics of, what happened, what is the need, and we'll work with landlords, hopefully to start rolling that out as soon as next week.
That's really amazing. So the match, that's something that we can share on our page, of course, to get matching funds for that rental assistance. That's fantastic. Appreciate those anonymous donors who are kicking you off in that way. Yeah, we're very concerned about that too. And we're very happy to, work with you guys in any way to get resources to you, try to get some fundraising going. And we've been in touch. Our legal teams have been in touch with the county as well, as we try to see what this might look like. It's really scary to see this kind of lift in the middle of the winter. And I know that there's politics involved, there's laws on the books, there's all sorts of complications for these things. But at the end of the day, if you're worried about getting evicted and this is the last month that you think you'll have housing, then we've got to help be there for our community. So I appreciate us talking about this and making it known that this is an issue. I think it's great that you guys are ahead of this and trying to raise some money, and we'll help as much as we can.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'd encourage anybody to, not wait until the end of January. If you have questions, if you're fearing eviction or struggling to pay the rent, just reach out. If we can't help you directly, we can provide resources to what's available.
That's great. Does this county still have rental assistance available that you guys can send people toward, or is that program?
That program, the applications have ended for the CARES funding. I believe
Right.
that they will have a new program coming out shortly, though, but I'm not sure about the details of that. I don't know that they've been released yet.
Okay, great. Well, we'll let you know if we find out, and same thing. And I think it's great how we just all hands on deck, right? Just trying to make sure that we have as many resources out there as possible.
Absolutely.
In terms of kind of the like mental health resources, is that something that you also, or do you give resources to folks if they need those? Is that part of the kind of care that you are able to offer?
Sure. So we don't do any kind of clinical work in-house, but we can refer out kind of depending on what the situation is. So I'd always say, if you have a question, if you're not sure where to go, give us a call because we have a family support program. One of our caseworkers can guide you in the right direction.
That's great. That's great. Because I know in addition to adults, children's mental health is always a real issue, but especially with their lives changing so much with COVID, not being able to see their friends and exercise in the same ways, that there's a lot of concerns around that. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate everything that you guys do. We're so lucky to have you in the community. When I first moved here, people told me all about the Catherine McAuley Center. You guys are, your reputation precedes you, and we're just happy you're here. We're grateful you're here. Thank you. We'll keep posting your stuff and making sure that we try to get some of those matching funds out. I'll have my team remind me, and that phone number for anybody who has someone that might be able to use the resources at the center, please call 570-342-1342. And Krista and her team, just doing the hard work every day. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it as well.
Thanks, Krista. Happy New Year.
Use too.
Thanks. All right, that's excellent. So we'll keep posting the matching funds. The end of the eviction moratorium is a really big deal at the end of January. So if you're able to, we'll get those things posted, so you can try to pitch in, and we'll at the city try to make sure that we're able to help as many families in need as possible. I know everybody's really focused on that. The city, the county, our legislators, everybody's really all hands on deck trying to make sure that we can mitigate this as much as possible. Okay, so on the mitigation piece, while we're talking about resources, let me just see if there's let's see. Okay. Let's talk about mental health right now. I'll give the numbers in addition to the McAuley Center. So Scranton Counseling at 348-6100. Outreach is 348-6484. Veteran Crisis Line is 1-800-273-8255. And locally here, the Women's Resource Center is 570-346-4671. Please don't go it alone. If you are struggling, or somebody on your family or a friend or neighbor is struggling, please reach out to those numbers. You can text TALK to 741-741 if you'd rather text. It's just really important. I think right now, even though the holidays were not the normal holidays, they're still over. It's kind of a bummer. It's freezing cold outside. It's just a tough time for everyone. So please do reach out. With that, please continue to keep Scranton firefighter Stephen Sunday's family in your prayers. It's a tough, it's just so hard losing him last week, and appreciative to the Scranton Fire Department and everyone in the city for being so supportive of his family, and continue to keep them in our thoughts and prayers. On a more happy note, congratulate Sam Vitris on his retirement after 41 years at the Department of Public Works in the city of Scranton. It's a long time, and it's really exciting. I'm sure overwhelming to punch that card one last time. So Sam, congratulations. We appreciate you and all the service that you've given us, and we'll look forward to seeing you around. I have a feeling you're not going to go too far. We at the city today, okay, there's an internet outage in the Scranton area. They're working hard to get the service up and running. The issue will be resolved at 1 o'clock, it says. I don't know how they know exactly that, but supposedly that internet outage is going to be fixed at 1:08 p.m. on the dot. We'll see how that goes. But that might be why you're having trouble with your internet. Here at the city, we'll be posting some project and constituent services opportunities. Those will be advertised and shared on Indeed and LinkedIn. We're very excited to be able to have some more opportunities in the city. We're trying to do a lot, and it's a fun place to work. It really is. So we're hoping we get lots of applications in for those roles. COVID testing. Okay. COVID testing, there's really not a lot of an update there. I haven't heard of people not being able to get a test. I think that's gone better. The problem is that timeline is a bit long, and that's been tough. Oh, sorry, back to the city stuff. OECD will issue 2 notice of funding availability from the CARES Act on Monday, January 11th. One is for a housing navigator, and the other is for an entity to do training and navigation for small businesses to adapt e-commerce solutions. That's great. So Housing Navigator will work with housing programs within the county to ensure clients are housed quickly and efficiently as possible. And then the other is for training small businesses to adapt to online solutions. So that Monday, January 11th, we'll have the notice of funding availability for people to be able to apply to get those, essentially get those contracts. That's very exciting. Small businesses and housing are 2 of the things that we need to stay just focused on every single day here. Okay, and the recycling calendars have been mailed out. They're on the social media pages, and we have extras here at the Treasury office in City Hall, and we'll put some in the Dix Court little brochure area too. Okay, let's get to some, oh, sorry, let me, I did want to circle back to what happened on Wednesday. I've been really trying to think of what this is about, and my husband and I have been talking about this for years and years. My mom, who lives with us as well, and my father, who we are on Skype with every night as well. We've been talking about this for a long time, but I think we saw it all come to a head on Wednesday. The events really were the culmination of decades of corrosive public personalities encouraging mistrust of the media, of our democratic institutions, and of each other. It's been a constant drumbeat of divisive political commentary over decades, and it's sought to undermine the truth about nearly everything that keeps us together as a nation. It's really poisoned the minds of millions of Americans who no longer seem to remember the fundamentals of the Constitution or the rule of law, or why respecting our differences is so important. The policies that have come out of this have eroded protections for people and natural resources. They've torn kids away from their parents and put them in cages. They've maligned the name of the United States in the eyes of the world. They've lined the pockets of an elite few with our hard-earned tax dollars. The people who have incited their followers to violence, and we saw that actually happen on Wednesday at the Capitol, they're not the ones that are there, right? They took cover and watched it from the comfort of their homes. And now we have 5 people dead, including a Capitol Police officer who died. It's not just one incident, and it's not just the last 4 years, and it's not just one person at all. It really is decades in the making. It's the product of these preposterous conspiracy theories that didn't just grow in the dark corners of the internet. They grew in the light of day on a major television network, and they were fed more and more by elected officials over the years. So the marketers of this deceit, they've profited from this. They've sold fear, they've sold hate, they've they've sold division and made money off of it. And then Wednesday happened, and I deeply hope that that's the beginning of the end. Those that are responsible have got to change. They have to denounce the violence. It's their words that got us here. They need to take their microphone and use those words, their words, to bring us back together and help their followers remember why we have an incredible democracy and that we need to respect it and utilize it for progress, not destroy it. I really truly hope that the glimpses of recognition we've seen in some people, some senators on Wednesday night, you could see glimpses of recognition that maybe all this wasn't a great idea after all, that maybe the words do matter, and maybe destroying American democracy is not the path that they want to go down. We should be hurt by this. My family is hurting. American families are hurting. I think all Americans are hurting, and we have to feel this. We can't ignore it. We have to feel that and use that energy to dig into the tremendous amount of work that we have going. We have to go. We have to listen to each other better. We also have to deal in truth, and that's what's been very hard about this last few months about the election results and the rigging of elections. That's not the case. I think there are 59 court cases that were turned down. That's our justice system working, thankfully. We can't keep perpetuating these conspiracy theories and these lies, and the people that are doing that they've really just got to stop. The hard work that we have to do includes the injustice that we see. We can't deny that Wednesday would have looked different if thousands of Black Americans had been outside the Capitol. It would have looked very, very different. I think we've seen the contrast in the images from Black Lives Matter protests versus the setup on Wednesday morning at the Capitol. We've got to change that. This isn't something just to put behind us. We have to change it. We have to do that hard work. And it is hard. It is very, very hard, but we have to do it because we have no other choice. So we need to acknowledge what happened on Wednesday, why it happened, that it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in 4 years. It did not. And it didn't happen just because of one person. Absolutely not. It's the culmination of decades and just decades, really since the 90s, of this media flurry that became mainstream, that just like these purveyors of conspiracy theories, this incendiary rhetoric culminated in what happened on Wednesday. So let's make a shift. Let's hope. We can't just hope. We have to have a little bit of hope that people will see that this isn't the way they want to go. They don't want to see the Capitol burn. They don't want to see democracy burn. Those people who still do, I would be happy to talk to anyone about why it's important that we embrace and nurture our democracy. It's not an easy thing. I mean, there's a reason that you have empires rise and fall, right? These things are tough, and they do evolve, and you have to have your political structure evolve. But at the fundamental level, if you want to live in a place where the people truly do rule, you've got to respect that process, respect the vote, respect that there will be winners and losers, dust yourself off and then make a plan for the next time, not resort to violence. So words do matter. Please use them to heal, to come together as a community and as families. I mean, I think we all have people in our families that we've disagreed with over the course of decades, and really probably especially in the last couple of years. So we've got to use our words for good and to heal. And I'm feeling a lot of pain. I know all of you are too, and I hope that we can really, really move forward together. So let's do that. And let's take some questions. All right. Let's see. Matthew is asking, since first responders are getting it now, does that mean citizens will have it soon? So the healthcare workers, first responders, in a few weeks, the 1B phase, that it doesn't, the 1B phase does include a lot of people with pre-existing conditions. So that will be some, I think, by citizens or kind of general public, but the Department of Health needs to give us more guidance. 1B, like I said, has about 4 million people in it. That's a huge number. So Matthew, we're waiting for more information on that. Eileen is asking about the Citizens Review Board. So we have a group that's working on some potential models for what that would look like, and they're getting that information to me in the next couple of weeks, and we'll start working. We'll have a dedicated group that's a more broad group that can start looking at this and have some public meetings about it. It's really important that we involve everyone in this, but it's exciting. I think it's a good thing that we can all do together as a community, and we'll see that coming soon, Eileen. Okay, Miriam's saying Comcast is saying service to be restored at 3 or 4. Okay, so looks like my info was out of date. So my 1:08 p.m. is now 3 or 4. That sounds a little bit more right, Miriam, because I don't know, or maybe it'll happen at 1, or maybe some areas of town, we'll see. Thank you, Miriam. Okay. Craig says during the snowstorms in the past weeks, many crosswalks and curb ramps weren't plowed or shoveled. Not the Okay. Yeah, we can look into it for the future. I'm not sure why the crosswalks, I didn't hear crosswalks weren't shoveled. That seems odd to me. Curb ramps and sidewalks, we have to address. Okay. Paul loves the recycling calendar. Excellent, thank you. Frank says, let's have a big Facebook party when this is over. Frank, let's have a real in-person party. I will buy the pizza, some of the pizza. I can't afford all of the pizza. I'll buy some. Okay, I'm good. I'm getting a couple more in here. Judy, I agree that we need a zoning officer. We have been trying to get a qualified zoning officer for many, many months, and it is tough to find someone. That has been surprising to me how difficult it's been. We've gone through the hiring process, and it hasn't worked out yet. So, but I'll text the team about 2208 prospects. Those are our internet's not, our email's not working right now, so I have to text it. But let me do 2208 prospect. I will say on that though, that if those cars are on the private property, that it's not as easy. It's not as easy as a fix as we would maybe like it to be. But I texted the team to take a look at that. Hala, in my opinion, one thing that unnerved me most post 9/11 is how easy it was to gain entry into our capital. I agree. And that's been, we've seen that kind of unravel. We saw the chief of the Capitol Police is resigning. I don't know why or how that happened. It seems just absurd when you look at that, those images of having a joint session of Congress and having little to no security. It was really astonishing. So I was on a call with mayors and police chiefs from across the country last night, and that is a real focus of cities, all cities, especially capital cities, is security. And a lot of state capitals have bumped up their security actually months ago. And I think that it was shocking. I think we're going to see more resignations, and it's very disturbing that happens. It truly is. Oh, let's see if I can pop on and get some more questions. Okay. Okay. All right. I don't see any other questions. Turn that off. Thank you all for being here, for listening, for engaging in the process. We're going to be okay. I do think that. I mean, I think we know that. We just have to work really hard to make sure that that's the case. So stay strong, stay safe. Hug your babies. I know I do that every night. We'll be all right. But it's going to take something from all of us. It's going to take really reaching out to those people that we disagree with and getting back to the root of all of this, which I think is a difference in news diets and a difference in kind of what we read and who we listen to, not actually what we believe. I think that every, nearly every single one of the 330 million Americans out there just wants to be safe and have the ability to provide for their family and wants love and to give love. Really, there aren't that many people out there. They're just very noisy, the ones that say they want something different. So we have to try to get them back into the fold, but really just hold on to the vast majority of us who really just want to keep moving forward and be happy and live our lives and live our lives in a way that we can be proud of. So thank you all. Mask up, please keep your distance. The virus, like I said, is really really not just still there, but this variant is probably coming soon, if not here, and it means that it spreads faster. From everything I've read, the vaccine would still vaccinate against that, but we're not all vaccinated yet, so we've got to keep doing what we're doing. So thank you. Try to have a good weekend. It's a tough winter. Winter is always a bummer. So let's look to better times ahead, and appreciate you. Thank you.